So what if I told you that your IQ isn't some fixed number you're stuck with? What if it's something you can actually shape? For so long, we've been led to believe that intelligence is just set from birth. Well, in this explainer, we're going to totally challenge that idea. We'll get into 5 powerful habits that can help you build a stronger, sharper mind. Let's dive in.
So let's just tackle that big question head on. Is your intelligence fixed? The common belief, and maybe what you've always thought, is pretty much yeah. But, if you really look at the early lives of some of history's greatest minds, you start to see a very different and way more inspiring story.
Take Albert Einstein. He wasn't exactly seen as a genius from day one. In fact, some of his teachers genuinely thought he was slow and probably wouldn't amount to much. And then you've got Charles Darwin, the guy who completely reshaped how we see biology. Yeah, he was considered just an average student. No special promise, they said. And how about Thomas Edison, one of the most prolific inventors ever? He got kicked out of school for being addled or, confused. The pattern here is pretty clear. These people didn't start out as geniuses. They became them. And that just opens up a really powerful idea. And that brings us right to the core idea here. Modern neuroscience actually agrees with what the lives of Einstein, Darwin, and Edison hint at. Your brain is just like a muscle. The way you use it is what shapes it. So the most important question isn't how smart am I, it's how can I train my brain to get smarter? Okay, so how do we actually start training that muscle? Well, our first habit is all about subtracting, not adding. It's about finding a way to think without all the noise. In our world of constant pings, notifications, videos, podcasts, our brains almost never get a moment of real, actual silence.
There's some really fascinating science behind this. When you give your brain a break from all that constant input, it slips into something called the default mode network. And this is where the magic happens. It's when your mind starts connecting scattered ideas, sparking creative solutions, and pulling up these deep insights. It's really no coincidence that Einstein spent hours just walking and thinking. He was activating this powerful network.
So here's your action plan. It's so simple, just 10 minutes a day. Find a quiet spot, no phone, no music, no distractions. It might feel a little boring at first, but trust me, that little bit of quiet is what will really set you apart.
All right, once you've carved out that quiet time, our second habit helps you make the most of it. It's all about embracing what's called the productive struggle. We live in an age of instant answers, right? If you don't know something, the solution is just a quick search away. But that convenience, it actually comes with a hidden cost to our intelligence.
Psychologists call this the productive struggle. It's that moment when you're trying to figure something out on your own, maybe even getting it wrong, and then trying again. That's when your brain is literally forging powerful new connections. When you rush to find the easy answer, you rob your brain of that crucial workout.
So here's the challenge. The next time you get that itch to Google a question, just pause. Force yourself to write down your best guess first. It doesn't even matter if you're wrong. In fact, that moment of wrestling with the problem, that's the workout your brain needs to grow stronger.
Okay, our third habit completely reframes something we all do. See, most of us write things down to remember them, but the smartest people, they write things down to understand them.
Let's break down this difference you see here. Writing to remember is kind of like putting a file in a cabinet. The goal is just storage. But writing to think, the way Leonardo da Vinci filled his notebooks, that's a whole different process. It's a process of discovery. It forces you to take these vague, jumbled ideas in your head and wrestle them into clarity. And that act of clarifying, that's where real understanding is born. All right, habit 4. This is where we really start to level up. It's about moving beyond just knowing random facts and starting to understand entire systems. The most intelligent thinkers don't just collect information, they connect big, powerful ideas from completely different fields. We call these mental models. For example, biology gives us the powerful concept of adaptation. How systems change to survive in their environment. Then, from economics, we get the model of incentives, understanding that people and systems respond in predictable ways to rewards and punishments. And from psychology, we learn all about bias,
those hidden mental shortcuts that can totally lead us astray. Now, here's the key. Genius isn't about knowing these ideas in isolation, it's about combining them. You can use the model of incentives to understand why a species might adapt a certain way, all while being aware of your own bias as you analyze it. This ability to layer ideas is really the hallmark of a truly intelligent mind. And our fifth and final habit, it challenges a huge misconception, the idea that memory is somehow different from intelligence. The truth is, they are so deeply connected. A powerful, organized memory allows for faster, more creative thinking. Just think of Nikola Tesla. The guy could build, test, and refine entire inventions completely in his mind. That wasn't magic. That was a highly trained memory at work.
And listen, you don't need to be Tesla to build a memory like that. Science has given us a proven two-step formula. First, active recall. Constantly test yourself, forcing your brain to pull up information. And second, spaced repetition, reviewing that information at strategic, increasing intervals of time. Using these two together doesn't just help you remember stuff, it physically strengthens the connections in your brain. So, as we wrap all this up, let's go back to that big idea. Intelligence is not a number, it's a system. It's a combination of finding quiet, embracing struggle, clarifying your thoughts, connecting big ideas, and building your memory. And the best part? This is a system that you build, day by day, through the habits you choose to practice.
Ultimately, this system is yours to design. It's yours to build. You have the control. So the only real question left is, what's going to be your first step?